So I thought it would be I was gonna say I thought it'd be cool, but wouldn't actually be that cool. This whole video is gonna be kind of silly. Is a 20-year-old Cobra a good road trip car? Obviously it's probably not. The problem with like new edge Mustangs now in 2022 is they're old. The plastics are getting old. A lot of the suspension parts are getting old. You can go, lady. Oh, okay, you're going this way. No, which way are you going? Okay. Plastics are getting old, the suspension's getting old, the rubber's getting old. Everything is getting old. The 2003 Mustang Cobra is nearly a classic. Like next year, it'll be a classic. So like next year, my car is gonna officially be freaking old enough to be a classic. I haven't driven the Cobra like 4 or 5 hours in like 4 or 5 years. The farthest that I've driven the Cobra is to like Derek Barron's last meet that was like an hour and a half away from me, and that made me nervous. And now I'm considering driving my Cobra to Myrtle Beach to go to Mustang Fest. So if any of you guys are going, this is me officially saying that I'm planning on going. It's not official yet. Like I haven't officially, like, I'm not officially going just yet. But if everything works out, I will be going to Mustang Fest Thursday the 7th through Sunday of the Mustang Fest week. Hopefully I can make it out there. You know, a lot of times things happen that screw up my plans and get in my way, and I end up eating my words, but hopefully we make it to Mustang Fest. I want to meet some of you guys if you're out there. Didn't get to make it to Mustang Week because it was my girlfriend's graduation, which was more important. But now, I've really been wanting to go to a nice Mustang car show the past couple of years, but I haven't been able to. You know, I thought about it and I was like, do I want to put some money into a new steering wheel, which would be nice, look at this thing, or do I want to go travel to Mustang Fest? And I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with this gross steering wheel for a while longer because I'm not a baller yet. I couldn't afford both, so I had to pick Mustang Fest, if that works out. The question is, can a 20-year-old Cobra make it 4 hours without having any sort of issues whatsoever? Now I'm gonna go get a checkup on the baby girl pretty soon here. We're gonna go get a checkup. We're gonna go to JD's and just check. I think it needs some brakes, probably gonna get some new pads put on, look at the suspension, look at the tie rods, the ball bearings. Oh goodness, tie rods, did I just say that? Yeah, tie rods, suspension stuff, and brake stuff, because those are the main things that I'm worried about right now. My tires are good, engine, transmission, good. Just need to make sure we're good in the brake and the suspension department. There are so many little suspension parts on 0304 Cobras that I've replaced a lot of it. I've replaced a lot of suspension parts, but there are still some suspension parts on this car that are 20 years old. Probably not many. I've replaced most of it, but there are probably some nuts and some bolts and maybe some rubber bushings somewhere that haven't been replaced. And that's what I want to look for. I want to see if any of that stuff is about to fail. And that's kind of what you got to do when you're gonna travel a really far. If you're gonna drive a car this old for 4 hours and you're not trailering it, or you can't trailer it like me. I don't have anybody that's willing to like lend me a trailer, just kind of spur the moment in the next couple weeks. So driving it is where it's at. At Myrtle Beach, if you're driving around a Mustang, if your Mustang chops too hard and you're cruising around on the strip at night, they will pull you and give you a ticket for racing of engine if your cam is chopping too hard. So I'm gonna try to not drive it on the strip at night. So if you see me there, you'll be seeing me during the day or at the meets. Me and the BBC turd will be hanging out. She's not much, but she's all I got. Her paint's starting to fade off on one side again because we tried to buff it, but there's just not enough clear coat left, unfortunately. It's kind of hot. I don't have air. Oh gosh, what's another thing? I just realized I don't have air. box below, do you guys drive your Fox bodies, your new edges, like 4 or 5 hours to shows, or do you trailer them? I am, you know, I'm still not at the level where I have a trailer. That would be cool, but I'm gonna have to drive her 4.5 hours. So I'm probably gonna film that, just so whatever happens, you guys get to enjoy that drive with me and some of the things that happens on my 4.5 hour drive. But I wanna know, what is that smell? Something stinks really badly. I wanna know down in the comment box below, if you guys are coming to Mustang Fest, or if you drive to car shows that are really far away, do you drive or do you trailer? Gesture he just did. Potentially he was wanting me to like race him and then rear end the people in front of us. I'm sorry, people eating at the restaurant beside me. No. The 0304 Cobra, a 20-year-old Cobra, probably not a great touring car. Like maybe I should get something like a Mustang GT, since it's a grand touring car. You know, that's what GT stands for. In case you guys don't know, GT stands for Grand Tour, as far as I know. First couple times I drove really far, like I've had this car for 10 years, so when I first had it, it wasn't as old. You know, 10 years ago, it was like a little over 10 years old. Now it's almost 20. I didn't have a lot of issues with parts breaking back then, but as it's gotten older, in 2022, your new Edge Mustang is getting to be quite old and decrepit. Things start snapping and rubbing and tunnel. You gotta hit the tunnel just right, at like 2,500 RPM, and get that resonant howling tone of goodness. It's nice to be loud and raspy, but it's also nice to be like resonant and humming and synchronizing, you know. That's why we love the Cobra exhaust. If you're planning on getting like a new Edge Mustang and then driving it 4 to 8 hours to like Mustang Week or something, get it looked over, look at your suspension, look at your brakes, make sure you're not running lean or running rich. Don't beat the crap out of the car while you're traveling, because you don't want to get stuck and broke down like racing some BMW 5 hours away from where you live. It's not a good time. Actually, when I met David Patterson and did the famous review, the Cobra broke, and it wasn't because I was beating on it, it was because of a failed, what is it? Fuel rail pressure sensor. So fuel rail pressure sensors, if you're getting a Terminator, those are something that you definitely want to look into if you're planning on driving a long distance. That's not something that you want to have fail when you're driving a long distance. So if you're buying a new Edge Mustang and you're curious, like you want to know if it's reliable long distance, there's a good chance that it's not going to be, that you're going to have some sort of failure. Most guys that are driving to like Mustang Week and Mustang Fest are probably driving S197s and S550s. It just is what it is. So if you're one of the guys that's got a Fox body or a new Edge Mustang GT or Cobra, you got to do your due diligence. Check on your car, make sure your fuel pumps are good, make sure you're not running too rich, too lean, make sure you don't have a tire ride about to go out, or I'm driving really slow, the speed limit's 65. I'm basically a grandpa. Everyone goes around me when I drive the Cobra because I just beat around it and I don't drive very fast. I gotta make sure that I don't break the car before I can go meet some of you guys at Mustang Fest. So anyways, I'm extremely ADD. Make sure that you're good. When you have a new Edge Mustang, know that they are now old. You could have some bolts, some bearing, some bushing, something could happen while you're driving really long distance. You want to check on all those things and try not to beat on the car while you're driving it a really far distance. If you want to beat on your car, do it in an area that you're used to, where if something breaks, you can have the car towed to someone that can fix it. Just my opinion. There are a lot of guys that are younger that just are not going to listen to anything that I'm saying, and are just going to constantly drive like crazy people, beat the crap out of their Mustangs constantly. I've never been one of those guys. I've always tried to be a little bit more safe and considerate of everyone around me. I like to have my fun, but I also, you know, I don't like to be broken down on the side. It's happened to me a lot because this is a project car. So, you know, during the process of building the motor, you know, getting the new motor in, putting the Whipple on, we broke a lot of stuff, and some of you guys were along to see all that. So if you have something like a Cobra or a New Edge GT and it's boosted, definitely not the greatest long distance driving car. But all I will say is if you have something like this and you got it whippled, you got a whippled Cobra, or you got a YSI Vortec or a Pro Charged or a whippled GT New Edge, you got something like that, check it. Check your suspension, check your brakes, check your air fuel, see if you're running rich or running lean. Check everything, make sure that you're good, you got that peace of mind, and then you can go on your fun trip to Mustang Fest and not be worried about anything. I hope this video is informative and it kind of, you know, get some of you guys to think about some of this stuff and maybe check things that you wouldn't have already checked so that you actually make it to Mustang Fest if you are going. These cars are older. If you have a New Edge Mustang or a Cobra or a Mach, check it. Make sure that you're good. Just do your due diligence on your car and make sure you are good. And hopefully I'll meet some of you guys down at Mustang Fest. Again, I'll be going down September 7th up until September 10th. And then I'll be leaving like September 11th morning and coming home. So I hope to see some of you guys down there. If you enjoyed this quick little Cobra vlog of me talking about how old the car is, leave me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys down at Mustang Fest. Much love. I'll see you guys next video.